Welcome back to the Real with Joseph Lappin. I am Joseph Lappin. Hope you guys having a great Wednesday afternoon. Welcome into the Real. If you're new here, please like, subscribe, and share. I'd really appreciate that on the way in here. Helps promote this video more in the algorithms and promotes this channel more. So shout out to all you guys and shout out to all new subscribers over the last year, as always. And yeah, check out yesterday's video as well. I did a Browns video breaking down how I believe Todd Monken is already changing the culture tremendously in the few months he's been here as the Browns head coach. So go check that out, like that video. And like I said, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Um, Gonna be a shorter video today for you guys, shorter live rather. Not gonna be on here too long. Just gonna do some quick thoughts and reactions on some news here about the Cavs and LeBron James. So we'll get to LeBron here in the back end. Kind of ties together all together today with the Cavs, obviously, and LeBron, the Golden State. Is he going to stay with the Lakers? Is it going to sign a trade to Cleveland? We'll talk about it. So, but joining me, though, before we get to the Cavs, is the man himself, Illyria's finest, my guy. Humble is in the building. Humble, what's happening?
What's happening, everybody? Driving right now, so if it sounds a little choppy on my end, I do want to apologize. But I'm glad to be here up on a beautiful platform, and always good to be back.
Absolutely. Humble, where's our I got to get the music going. Where's our music at? Where's our? There it is, right here. There we go. All right, little background. We got to get to the Cavs, Humble. They're going to run it back, Humble, allegedly. That's what a lot of people are saying. The Cavs, are they going to be running it back? According to a lot of reports right now, it seems like the Cavs will be running it back. Donovan Mitchell last night put out an Instagram post that says back soon. And you can see in the picture, it has the starting five for the Cavs with him, James Harden, Evan Mobley, Jared Allen, and Max Strus. Obviously, Mobley.
Hey, Joe, can you turn on the music just a little bit?
Oh, yeah. Obviously, Mobley, Strus, and Allen have all been rumored in trade talks. And so will they keep the core four? Will they trade some people? Will they run it back? What are they going to do? Right now, it seems like they're signaling, and I know Brian Windhorst said on ESPN Cleveland recently this week that it seems like they're putting out there they're going to run it back. Now, he doesn't know if he really believes that or not. I don't know if I really believe that or not, to be honest with you. Humble, do you really believe that?
I don't. I'm questionable about it.
So you're questionable. Wally says that they run it back, sweep again and again, 4-0. Good to see you, Wally. Now, here's what I'm confused about, Humble. You remember what Dan Gilbert said right after they lost? It said, quote, we took a step ahead this spring, but we are nowhere near where we need to be. I can't thank the fans enough for the support this summer. We will dig in all summer and do everything we possibly can to take the next step. We will grind until we get there. So, Humble, I'm confused. Running it back, how's that getting better? It's the same thing. I mean, I just don't understand. I mean, my thoughts on this is if you run it back with the same team, and I know some of the reports are as well, they're going to prioritize Dean Wade over Keon Ellis. I just don't understand why you're trying to run it back with the same basic rotation group of guys, and you know the ownership comes out and says we're way behind. You know, it literally said we are nowhere near we need to be. Basically, we're saying we're on the Knicks level, obviously. We're not on the Spurs level. We're not on the Thunder level. We're not going to be on a lot of teams' level next year because other teams are going to get better too. And we're just going to stand pat. I mean, what are they going to do more? Humble, Humble. What are they going to do more? Are they going to practice more? I mean, I don't.
I mean, Kevin Love's retiring. He doesn't come over there.
Yeah, I mean, I don't understand what's the big moves they're going to make to get better if you're just going to stand pat and run it back. I mean, I'm be honest, Humble. I don't buy the running it back. I really don't. Because the owner, why would the owner come out and say what he said right after the loss, and then they're going to put out, oh, yeah, we're running it back? That doesn't make any sense. Like, I think Jared Allen could more than likely be up out of here. Max Strus, who I like, I wouldn't trade. He's possibly could be up out of here. Dean Wade, I think, is definitely up out of here. I think that could be a sign and trade piece. I'll get to that in a minute. Keon Ellis could be another sign and trade piece if they could package for another player. But Humble, I just don't see why running it back to me. Last time I saw this team, Humble, they quit. They quit
Yeah.
and they got exposed again. Now, yes, they made it to the Eastern Conference Finals. Took them 7 games and 2 back-to-back series to get there. I don't think they should have had as much of a hard time with the Raptors as they should have, but they did. And so yeah, they made it to the conference finals, but man, they got absolutely boat raced and they quit. No, I mean no, they quit in their own home gym, and we're going to run it back with that team. How does that team actually ever put it together with zero leadership? Clearly, zero leadership, and the coach analytically, he's in the finals right now, and he's back. I didn't put it all on Kenny Atkinson after the season. I said I kind of get it from Kenny's perspective in some ways, like he needs that true number one guy. They don't have that true guy in my true number one guy in my opinion that can lead a team to a championship. But Humble running it back to me with the exact same everything. How do you expect that to just level up all of a sudden? I don't see it. What about you?
I mean, the only thing that I can honestly think of, and I said it before on the show, that maybe it's because they haven't played a full season with James Harden. Um, with the whole Keon Ellis, D Wade over Keon Ellis, I gotta ask you, Joe, from an organization standpoint, because we obviously didn't see Keon play in the playoffs. Were they prioritizing Dennis Schroeder over Keon? And Keon kind of was just in the deal. It was a package deal. I don't know. I don't know why we're still evaluating Dean Wade. Um, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. I don't get it. I don't understand why. You said I'm here. Good to see you, Wally.
Let's see. Well,
He's not on Dan Gilbert's team right now. TK in New York says they really were a second round exit. They were not competitive in the East Conference Finals. Why do we give credit for that? I agree. To me, I just watch them. They're not. To me, they're nowhere near where they need to be. He's right. They are nowhere near where they need to be. But we've seen this group, this core, this team led by Kenny for 2 years with Kenny as the coach. We've seen that main core basically with obviously they don't have Darius Garland. They traded for James Harden, but we saw that a little bit. James on the back end of his career. Like we've seen this group together with Strus and Dean Wade off the bench, and they brought in different point guards here and there, and blah blah blah. The Thomas Bryants of the world to be backup bigs, and like we've seen it. And what we've seen is when they when they go up against superior teams, real contending teams, they're not on that level in the postseason. They get swept off the floor, or they just can't get it done. And people question, are they soft? I don't see leadership with them. I saw them lit again. I can't get past them quitting in game 4 at home like the way they did. And they were not even before that they quit in that series, but the way they quit on the team, or excuse me, quit on the series and the coach and what he was saying about analytically were blah blah blah, or we were up 2-1 or whatever he said. I mean, wasn't good PR there. I mean, I just I don't see why running it back makes any sense, because you're not going to get any better. I mean, you are who you are. I mean, I don't know what are they going to dig in and do all summer? What are they going to shoot free throws more? Like what? What? Like they're not changing their DNA. Kenny's not changing who he is as a coach. He can't just show up next year and become a completely different coach. That's just not his style. It's not who he is. They would turn the locker room off. They already know who he is in 2 years. So again, if you're going to make that next step, you have to make serious roster moves because you already said you're not changing the coach at least to start the season. We'll see who they put there as the associate coach. If Johnny Bryant maybe is the next guy in line or whatever. We'll see what they do. But you already said it's not the coach by bringing him back. So if it's not the coach and you say you need to make major changes, right? You're going to dig all in. You're nowhere near you need to be. Then that means it's your roster. Okay. So what roster moves are we making? What are we doing? What's the big move? Like keeping the core four, like Humble. I don't know any role players that's going to make a big difference with this core four. The core four, what the team needs is not what can we build around this core four. What they need is leadership and somebody that has actually been there and won before and is a true number one. How do you get that guy? Because you got pieces to get it done. But I mean, Humble. I mean, is there any role players like? What, are we going to find a better Dean Wade and that's going to be the difference? I don't think that's going to make a difference at all. What about you?
I agree, and I don't know if Cavs are planning on thinking that Jalen Tyson will develop into a better player. I know, what was that, his rookie year, Joe?
Second year.
Second year, right? His second year. Um, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I think
He,
that Jalen Tyson was better with what's his name on the
Darius
court,
Garland.
Darius Garland on the court a little bit. And him not being on the court actually provided him more minutes. Believe it or not, and with James Harden being there, I think that limits his shots now.
It seemed like he
I,
got stifled when Harden arrived
right,
because he was rolling. I mean,
exactly.
remember,
He's hot.
remember the middle of the season, we're like, this guy, man, he's a stud. Like he's playing really well, and then all of a sudden we get to the, when it matters, the end of the season when Harden gets here and in the postseason, and he was barely in the rotation. I don't think there were some games in the postseason he didn't even play.
Yeah.
So I don't get it. I mean, what do you think? Do you think the Cavs right now are, this is actually, really it's just good, uh, Kobe Altman, kind of standing pat, looking like he's standing pat publicly to raise the value on more of these guys, which GMs do very often, saying, we like our guys and we're not, what if he's saying we're going to keep them? Like basically saying you got to give us a great offer, an offer that really intrigues us, for us to pull the trigger. I mean, what do you think? You think this is more Kobe Altman being a GM right now, putting his obviously is a GM, putting his trade hat on and trying to get the value up on some of these guys? Do we have Humble? Oh, Humble might be out. But that's what I'm wondering. I wonder, is this Kobe Altman really just trying to put the trade value up on some of these guys? Because again, it doesn't add up with what the owner said, and then what was reported by Brian Windhorst and other people right after the season saying major changes are coming, to now all of a sudden, we're going to run it back. We'll see you soon. Like, what happened? What changed? Like, you guys aren't just going to magically just figure it out. It's just not going to happen. You need to make changes to this group, and you need to add leadership and people who have actually been there and won before, and make a pivot. And you're going to have to come off with one of those core four guys, maybe two, and get it done. So that's how I see it. I think Humble. We'll see if we get Humble back here in a second. He might just have some technical issues. Or we
Oh
got
yeah.
Humble.
Yep.
Yeah, Humble. What's your thoughts on that? Do you think this is Kobe Altman trying to stand pat, possibly to raise the trade value on some of these guys?
Yeah, that sounds about right. You got to play them through half the season, trade them through before the deadline. That sounds about right. Yeah. See how they're playing, seeing where their value stands. I think that's about right.
Wiley says 4-0 sweeping coming next year. I mean, if they run it back with the same team, it's hard not to envision that, in my opinion. Um, but speaking of the Cavs, Humble, obviously we're talking about the Cavs and what they should run it back or not. Um, Let me ask you this, Humble. What would you pay to keep? Would you target Dean Wade over Keon Ellis? And B, how much money would you actually pay to him?
Um, which card?
Because me, uh, I'm not bringing him back, which you already know where I stand on that. But curious your thoughts.
I think I keep thinking back to it, man, and it's hard not to think about it. How do you how do you bring in Dennis Schroeder, a guy who's been in the league, for a while, and like you said, during the playoffs, kind of was the only guy able to get at Donovan Mitchell. If that's all it was, is that why we brought in Dennis Schroeder, for him to, you know, get us to the Eastern Conference Finals? I don't ultimately think so. And that goes back to the Keon Ellis thing. We traded for two guys, not one guy to be on the court.
Mm-hmm.
As far as I'm concerned, Keon Ellis, there was no reports of him being hurt. Um,
And
so
you
I
brought him
don't
in for
see,
defense, which is what you needed.
and the playoffs is all about defense. So it makes me scratch my head all day long. Would JB have played Keon Ellis? You bet you he would have. He
Oh
probably
yeah,
would
he
have been a
with Lamar's
starter over
Stevens,
Sam
he definitely
Merrill.
would have played Keon Ellis.
He would have played over Sam Merrill. We know how JB played his guys. He was a defensive first guy. Um, so it hurt me, to kind of never see not Dennis Schroeder, excuse me, Keon Ellis out there at all. You got a guy in Dean Wade that, I'm a believer of we have too many guards on the team. Um, what are we gonna do when we face a team that are in the finals right now with guys that have rim protection? Uh, Carl Anthony Towns, Mitchell Robinson. You
Victor
got a
Wembanyama.
Right, Victor Wembanyama, Luke Kennard. You got guys that are just, you know what I mean. They know their well. They know their role well, and I don't think Thomas Bryant is scaring a lot of teams. Majority of the teams in the league. I don't think any team that matter. Maybe Charlotte Hornets, but I don't even. I think that with their rise right now in young studs over there, they're not even worried about Thomas Bryant. And I know Thomas Bryant, he's a good dude. He can play on a second unit team, but that's it's not a championship team. You could say Thomas Bryant, he has a championship, what have you. He was with LeBron, whatever. Um, I just I mean not LeBron, he was with Denver. I'm sorry. I just I don't think that this team's enough. I don't know why it feels like we settle for less, and we get hyped for these guys. I mean, I know you saw the clip of Darius Garland and Lonzo Ball talking about Cavs getting swept by the Knicks and saying that, hey, we wouldn't have got swept if we were on the team. It makes you wonder. It makes you scratch your head. It makes you think. But at the end of the day, a lot of these guys, I don't even think that. I still think they would have got swept. But it makes you say, what? Who? Why are these guys getting picked up in the first place? And I love Darius Garland. It's not a knock on Garland. It's just he was injured and all that. That the factor had played. Um, but you know, some of these guys just don't have that dog factor. Shout out the Cleveland Browns. Um, I don't think that they have that it factor in them. I'm questionable about Donovan Mitchell at times. His want and belief. I see it. I see it there, but it's the shot selection. I've never liked it. We talked about hero ball. Um, I mean we can get all I can get on this team all day long just because we're out of the playoffs and it's easier to talk about them now. Um, but I mean, ultimately, you missed your goal. When it should have been our year to get to the finals. Maybe Braun would have considered coming back a little bit more rather than not because hey, we got to the finals. Um, without him. Now we need him.
Or
And
even just
it's
competed better. I mean,
right.
have been more competitive. I mean, like with Donovan too, it's just I don't see the leadership in that team. I I
No.
don't see it. Kenny to me reminds me a little bit of Kevin Stefanski. That's why I called him Kenny Stefanski. Just kind of passive, nice guy, but passive, doesn't really hold people accountable. Clearly they don't have any accountability in that team. I don't see it. Um, and again, when the owner comes out and says, we're way behind. We're nowhere near where we need to be. And we're gonna dig all in this summer. A, he writes the checks, and we know Dan Gilbert, when he wants something done, he gets it done. And B, you brought back the coach, so you're telling us it's not the coach, it's the players. So what are you gonna do? I
I'll t-
mean, like running it back, you did nothing. You literally did nothing. You're just saying, okay, well, what are we digging all in this summer? What digging into shooting free throws at practice? Like what? What are we digging into? You gonna get some second round pick that's gonna help? I mean, like I don't get it, and that's why to me, I don't buy that they're running it back. I really don't. I, I,
and
I I don't think this. Do you think this Donovan Mitchell post signals that they're going to run it back?
Right. Yeah. It makes me wonder too. But if it's anyone that makes me question why Dan Gilbert wrote that post, Joe, I think it was Harden. I think it was James Harden. I think that they had to ultimately move on from Garland. I think everyone understood why we moved on from him, but ultimately, I think Dan Gilbert wrote that because of Harden, right? Like, why did we go for a guy that's not going to give us any upside as far as age? He's not getting any better. If anything, he's decreasing with age. We know that. And if you bring him back next season, I think it's ultimately just for sales purposes. I think it's to bring in fans that's never seen James Harden in a uniform before, and they want to see James Harden play locally in Cleveland. Um,
Yeah, James said after the season he wants to come back and they want to bring him back, but I've also heard rumblings that he may not be back. So we'll see what happens. I'll leave it at that. But I one thing with James though, they got to get his contract down. That gets him out of the or get him out of the second apron. They could do more. And I think a lot of this right now too. You guys got to remember with the NBA reporting right now, we're a month out from free agency, a little less than a month. It's like love and hip hop, like I said with this stuff. They're gonna one day it's the wind's blowing this way, the one day it's blowing that way. So a lot of what you're seeing right now is just blogging. Okay. It's just random. It's reports, not random, but it's reporting that they're putting out there, but it gets people engaged and people are getting fired up already. Oh, we're running it back and blah, blah, blah. You don't determine you're going to run it back 3 weeks before free agency starts. You just don't. The draft hasn't even happened yet. The finals aren't even over yet. So to me, I think a lot of what you're seeing right now is just the same old stuff we see a lot of times. Just like I think back to the Browns in 20 after the 21 season. First report after the season, oh, they're going to bring Baker Mayfield back, and what happened? They went out and got Deshaun Watson for $200 something million, and Baker was pushed out of the building, out of town. So it was traded to Carolina. So again, you should never believe what you hear right after the season. I think once we get around the draft, that's when those things start to become a lot more clear. So, but again, right now, and we got Wally in here. Wally, feel free to jump in on this topic before we move on to the last one here. That kind of goes along with this. Wally, I don't see them running it back. I don't buy this. They're gonna be making some changes somewhere on that roster. But go ahead, Wally.
What's going on? What's going on? Yeah, like if they is, I don't got nothing to say for it. Cause if they run in the back, it's gonna be the same results. The same results.
Are you buying they're gonna run it back?
Nah, and with that Dame Gilbert thingy, it's kind of interesting why he said that. Like end of um the season of and humble. Like you think he's like talking about like James Harden? Like I don't know why they did that trade anyway. But again, it's really not Kobe. It's actually Rich Paul. He told Rich Paul told Kobe Altman he's have to go. There's going to have to go. So it's pretty much not like in Kobe's hands. It was the agent of Rich Paul and stuff. So yeah.
Yeah, I did hear some of that as well, which is fascinating to see how that all. We'll see where things unfold this summer. Why maybe they were pushing that, but um, what do you guys think about the report? Well, home I've asked you, but why? What do you think about they're going to prioritize Dean Wade over Keon Ellis? You traded for Keon Ellis because he brought you perimeter defense. It could be a 3D guy. Dean Wade, I, he's not a terrible defender, but I don't think he's as good as people have made him out to be. And I think when he gives you nothing burgers in the points department in the playoffs, what's the point of having him? So to me, it's not worth overpaying for him, or so if another team wants to overpay for him because teams need shooting nowadays and bigger, have versatility, let him do it. But what do you think about that, Wally?
Uh,
Wally's over it.
Wally
I
said no
don't know.
comment.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Wally,
no
like
comment.
Dean Wade, bro,
No
really?
comment.
I
He's over it.
He's over it. All right, I got you. Why? Just blow it all up. But I could already tell what he answers. He's like, nah, I'm out on D Wade, bro. I'm with you. You know where I've been staying on that. But anyways, latest breaking news coming out today, less than an hour ago, about LeBron James. This is from Kurt Helen, I believe, of NBC Sports. Said LeBron James and Rich Paul reportedly planning to ask for a max contract from the Lakers. He went on to say he doesn't believe it's hard to imagine LeBron getting a 2-year, $50 million deal with a player option and no trade clause. I think it's not happening. They're not paying him the max money, and like I said on the show the other day and yesterday, it's been well known behind the scene. This was his last year in LA this past year. There's a reason why they didn't extend Bronny. There's a reason why they didn't make trades at the deadline because this was it. Mark Walters made it clear, pay him his money, let him play out the rest of the year. And after that, we're done with him. And you've seen all the changes they've made in the organization. They've cleaned house within the organization. They've made had a lot of layoffs after the season. And they're prioritizing Austin Reeves over LeBron, which has been reported. There's a reason why. And Mark Walters actually just made a hire in the building with one of his people from the Dodgers. So it's all his people getting put in there. And it's 100% the Luka Lakers now. It's not LeBron's team anymore. LeBron's not coming back to the Lakers, I don't believe. I think it's highly unlikely he's going to be a Laker next year. We'll never say never, but I would say it's highly unlikely. So I think this whole Lakers charade thing will be done here pretty soon. They'll be made clear that he's not going back there and that they'll mutually part ways, which I think they already have before the season even started last year. So go ahead, Wally.
Like the max. I don't know. I don't know, but if it happened, it happened. Happy. I'm okay happy if it do happen because he ain't gonna be in Cleveland. Like, hey, go ahead. I already want the Lakers to deal with him again. Like, I really do.
I don't
Um,
think. I think that's ship has sailed. I don't think he's going to be in a Lakers uniform ever again. Uh, Now that leaves though. What's he going to do after? And obviously, it's been. I've said it. We've all been talking about it. It's going to be Golden State Warriors. Obviously, have a lot of interest. It was reported again in the last 48 hours. The Lakers or the Warriors, excuse me, are all in on building this core four of Steph Curry, Draymond, Jimmy Butler, who's coming off an injury, getting paid over $50 million. Draymond's going to have a $20+ million player option to opt into. Is not nearly the same player he used to be at all. And then obviously they want LeBron. Now that would be their core four, I guess, or whatever you want to call it, old four. Um, I, and then another report came out today because yesterday Mark Stein said that the idea of LeBron James return to the Cavs is harder to envision than other options right now. Well, the only other option is the Warriors, and so he said it's harder to envision. And I think a lot of it's because people are again, this is it's building up to the free agency, and right now technically the Cavs they haven't got the Harden thing situated yet. Blah blah blah. But Eric Pincus, a Bleacher Report, last week Eric Pincus put out a scenario for the Warriors for LeBron, and he put out a thing today, an article this morning, I believe, a Bleacher Report. It says it's about a sign and trade that could really change the whole NBA. And in this sign and trade, I'm going to break this down and let these guys react to it. It says Eric Pincus believes the LeBron James sign and trade to Cleveland may be complicated, but is absolutely workable. He proposed the following framework. Cleveland receives LeBron James, Bronny James, DeAndre Ayton, Jake LaRavia, don't connect, and a $28 million trade exception. The Lakers received Jared Allen, Dennis Schroeder, Dean Wade, and Sam Merrill. Pincus floated out a 3-year, $63 million deal with James, and with a behind-the-scenes agreement that James plays a couple of seasons but receives his full compensation. Now, I'm going to break this down here real quick, what I think is how this deal actually would go. So obviously LeBron and Jared Allen are the two main pieces for each team. Bronny James most likely would be in the deal. Okay. Here's the interesting thing I want to throw out. He mentions Dean Wade. Brian Windhorst the other day on ESPN Cleveland on his show on YouTube mentioned that the Lakers have interest in Dean Wade. I also heard the Lakers have interest in Keon Ellis, which is both the guys the Cavs said they were kind of picking between. Well, the Lakers have interest in both. So if you wanted to pull off a sign and trade, I think you could possibly make you sign Dean Wade, you sign Jared Allen, or Jared Allen's already here, but you do a sign and trade with Dean Wade. They're signing and trading LeBron. There is a world where you can pull kind of stuff like this off. I don't think DeAndre Ayton would be in the deal. Um, I'm curious what Rui Hachimure's market's going to be because he's a guy I think the Cavs possibly could. LeBron even would want to try to swing here if he did choose to come back here in a sign and trade scenario. But one thing about this as well, the Warriors can only give LeBron, I think, a $15 million mid-level exception, which for 2 years would be $30 million. The Cavs with the sign and trade with Jared Allen, I think because Jared Allen's making almost $30 million a year, so the salaries have to match. He would be making, so right there he has 3 years, $63 million, which would be, sorry if we're not on the quick math, but that would be right around, because Jared's making $30 million. I'm not sure what Dean Wade's market's going to be, but LeBron will get $21 million a year is basically what he's saying. I think he can get a little more than that because, again, Jared Allen's making more money. So in a sign and trade scenario, he could probably get around $25 million, which is $10 million more. And even if he got 21, it's still more than the Warriors. And you already have a house here. So I think it's fascinating. This is going to be this move right here, even at 41 years old, the LeBron thing and LeBron and Giannis are going to really dictate what happens in the NBA this summer because they're the two biggest dominoes that have to fall. It seems like Giannis to Miami seems to be done. It's where it's pointing towards, but we'll have to wait and see what happens there. It's not a done deal till it's a done deal, and you never know. I mean, hell, for all we know, the Cats could be working on a deal for Giannis, and we don't even know it. Even it wouldn't surprise me. I mean, anything can happen. I mean, remember they got Donovan Mitchell, it was always going to New York. He's going to New York. He's going to New York, and all of a sudden, here come the Cavs, and boom, they get Donovan Mitchell. So you never really know what's going on truly, but because things change on the fly. I think the Giannis situation is a lot more fluid actually than the LeBron situation. I think LeBron has an idea of what he wants to do. So ultimately, it's going to come down. If he chooses to go to the Warriors, in my opinion, it's because he wants to stay in the West Coast, wants to retire out there. And I know the report that came out the last couple or day or two, the Warriors are going to pitch him the idea. Well, you could still live in LA, commute to the Golden State via it's like a 4-hour plane ride, or you could split time there. You could be in LA sometimes with your family. You could be here in Golden State, maybe get like a whatever. It's not that far from each other. But to me, if he goes to Golden State, because he ultimately he's looking ahead to retirement, and he wants to play with Steph Curry, and he wants to be out in the West Coast, Napa Valley, wine country.
I agree.
Part-time basketball player, like Humble said. So if he goes to the Warriors, that's because he's halfway retired and he just wants to do what he wants to do, which, yeah, that's what he wants to do. That's what he's going to do. I think it would be a bad ending to his career personally. I don't think people are really gravitated towards that. Like people, the media's going to try to make it out to be if it happens. But because that's a really old team. They're not winning the West. LeBron and Steph Curry are not what they used to be. They're still great players. It still can have a hell of an impact on the team, obviously. But I just don't think those two, with the supporting cast they'll have around them, is just not good enough at all. It's an interesting story. It's cute, but I think once we get to what it matters most, it's not gonna be that cute. It's just gonna be all right. Let's get these old guys up out of here because they don't have the supporting cast to help them. So to me, if he chooses to go to Golden State, it's because he wants the lifestyle over actual basketball. And to me, he might as well just retire. I think if he really wants to have the best ending to his career, you go back where it started, to the organization where you made it to what it became, and it's home. You have a house here. They can actually give you more money, and you're actually in the Eastern Conference with a team that is hungry and needs you. So you're needed too as well. And what other city is going to accept his son more than Cleveland? No other city will. I mean, LA, they were, the first night when they played, like, yay. And then after that, it's like, okay, why does this? You've heard people question why is he on the team out there? Cleveland, man, that guy scored a bucket here a couple times. That place went crazy. They were up on their feet chanting for Barney to come in the game. Like, it just means more here. We get it. So I think it makes more sense to come home. More money.
Point, by the way, Joe.
Yeah, more money, better for your son. one of his good friends is being promoted. His teammate from high school, who he's actually very close with. I know Brian Windhorst kind of downplayed that the other day with Brandon Weems. I think he downplayed it a little too much. If you actually know that relationship behind the scenes, they're pretty close. All right, they grew up together. They went to St. B together. They're tight. They're boys. Brandon Weems is his guy. Brandon Weems is gonna be promoted to the GM spot for the Cavs. Ultimately, I think LeBron wants power where he goes. If he goes to Golden State, it's still Steph's franchise. And I don't know why. I don't think Steph, honestly, I don't think Steph wants that to happen. I think Draymond does. I don't see why Steph would. I don't think LeBron should, but I don't see why Steph would, because this is the guy I've always been trying to be better than. If he comes here and wins, he'll get more of the credit than me. So, and this is my franchise. I built Golden State up to what it became. So I just
That's
don't think it's a
true.
good. I don't
That's
think it's a good fit. I don't think it makes sense. If that's what Steph and LeBron, I don't mean to go on my rant, but if this is what Steph and LeBron want to do, both of them should just retire, in my opinion. This is just a gimmick by the NBA just to try to maybe draw more ratings and all that. But I'm not very interested in it because I know what the end result's going to be. Again, it's a cute little story to start off the season, and then you can just dust into the side when it matters most. Cleveland makes the most sense, and it's needed. And the Cavs need leadership and somebody knows how to lead a team over the top. And again, I can go on, but I'll go to you, Wally, and Humble. You go right after him. What's your thoughts?
that's a good point. Uh, Steph Curry don't want like that to happen. Um, and Draymond Green want it to happen.
Well, Steph Curry
Yeah,
also, not to cut you off, let me add this. Steph Curry also just signed a crazy deal with Li Ning, who was becoming a rival in China to Nike. So
yeah. It's not
there's
just
that part of it as well. LeBron's obviously the face of Nike basketball right now, so it's like, yeah, I don't know. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
no, you good, you good. Yeah, I heard that. It's not just that company; it's another company. Kyrie and Klay Thompson is at. Dave's trying to fight Nike also. It's not just that company.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but with that, the sign and stuff. But first off, with this sign trade stuff, do this take Cleveland's like second apron away, or what's like
Well,
first or
that
second?
James Harden has signed the deal where they've already rumored he's going to sign, where he'll get more guarantee money, but it's for less overall money. If that makes sense. Like,
Okay,
instead of getting $40 million a year, he's going to get, let's say, 30. Or I'm just throwing out. It's something like that, where it gets him out of the second apron. He gets more guaranteed money, but he takes a lesser deal. I think it's like $11 million pay cut, which gets them out of that, where they can do a deal like this.
so we talking about the first second apron, not the second one.
Yeah, right now we're in the second apron. We got to get out of that to possibly make a deal like that. And that James
Mm-hmm.
Harden's contract is what would allow. And then obviously you're going to shed salary too on your expiring deals.
Mm. So will the second apron like come back if Cleveland potentially make this trade or
I don't think so, because you're LeBron and Allen. I think you're just swapping. You're gonna LeBron would sign, I think, for Jarrett's contract. Basically, that's how the salaries had to match.
mm,
And I think everybody else it should line up. They would probably line up the deal where it keeps them in the first apron, and that LeBron still gets paid, and they have some flexibility still with some mid-level exceptions.
all right. But with the Golden State though, I think Rich Paul going to talk to the Lakers about the Max contract and potentially get not get Bron but get Rich Paul get LeBron and the Lakers in like one more year or 2 more years or something like that with the max contract. But I possibly don't think it's going to be the max. It's going to be probably a we will like talk about like 29.3 quarantined contract. Not like a max though, but it's going to be that kind of number, like almost by that number, but
Well, the
not.
rest of the report too, not to add to that, is they want to know, if you don't give me a max contract, what are you going to do with the rest of the money? And there's not. What are they going to do with that money? What are the Lakers going to do to be significantly better? Nothing. So like, there's no move they can really make to make.
I
They're
th-
not going for Giannis. You don't want that. I
yeah,
think
Giannis. I think
LeBron would want. I don't think Luca wants that, and I don't. I think personally, LeBron knew. I think this is all just kind of smoke and mirror. I think
right.
they know LeBron's not going to be back. Most likely, 98% will not be back at the Lakers next year
Mm.
because from what I heard, they knew going into the season this was probably the last year, and their actions have followed that. And they've Mark Walter's a new owner. It's his team now. All LeBron's people that he could leverage and
It's not there no more.
they're
Yeah,
not there no more. He doesn't have that what's the word? He can't dictate his own terms anymore.
but
And I think that's where it's time. That's where they separate and move on.
yeah, this is not a part of the talking points though. But we have one person is dunking right now, and it's Tune. That dude, he's dunking. He's dunking the smoke and stuff. He should have come to live or something, or start a live. Um,
Yeah, I think
again,
Tune is hopefully staying out of the streets in New York after the game because that looks like a mess. But um,
yeah,
I think shout out to my guy too. Hopefully we hear from Batman soon, humble. Um,
yeah, honestly. But with LeBron though, I think the Lakers gonna run it back like the same type of team, but it's gonna be a different kind of look at. I think they're gonna trade Andre and a lot of people. We have a lot of players could have value for like trading. So I think they're going to fix that and then sign LeBron probably a minimum contract, I believe.
I don't think LeBron's back at LA at all. I think they're going to blow that some of that team. I wouldn't be surprised if we see Austin Reeves in a sign and trade. Um, and
Mm,
I think they have interest in Jamal Murray. That's been the rumor. I think you could see a sign and trade with Reeves for Jamal Murray, possibly. Um, if they could pull that off. I think they're done with. I think they're moving on. They're retooling this whole team around Luca, and I think they're going to try to. I think the Lakers are going to be really aggressive this offseason. I think they're going to try to build an actual contending team next year for Luca. Personally, but humble, what do you think? And I think JJ Redick will be retained as the head coach. Um, if
yeah.
LeBron leaves, humble, what do you think? This whole LeBron situation and your take on it. I mean, what's your thoughts on all this?
I think LeBron is very old. I think like what Wendy what Wendy said. It's kind of hard that a lot of teams don't know how much like what he how much he's worth, type of thing. You know what I mean? A player of that age, it's kind of interesting to judge, and makes me wonder. I mean, how much should he be paid? They call him the king for a reason. Um, does he deserve a max? I know as far as UFC deals, with that whole Paramount change, swapping from ESPN to Paramount, you know, 7 point something billion dollars. Fighters are getting paid more. Uh, Things of that matter makes me wonder. Does LeBron still look at it from that perspective? Hey, look at what I've done from the game, longevity wise. I still deserve to get paid the max. I don't know if that's what he's thinking, because if you got guys like D Wade, Chris Bosh, those guys didn't get paid as much as they probably should have. D Wade took pay cuts, right, Joe, in Miami, when LeBron
Mhm.
was there, right? Correct me if I'm wrong.
I believe so.
Um,
Yeah.
so LeBron not wanting to take a pay cut. Am I surprised? No, not really. Um, I think he's just of the mindset that, hey, we're kind of getting into this new era, and I'm bouncing back off that UFC idea. I think he really values himself. like he said, I'm putting myself over anybody if we're talking discussion as far as like basketball terms. Which I mean, he has the right to say that. He's still in the game, doing what he has been doing. Um, Going back to Luka Doncic, and this is his team now. Rob Pelinka, Jeannie Buss no longer makes me wonder. I gotta wonder. Does LeBron really only want to play with a superstar? I mean, it makes me think so because hey, it looks like he wants to play with Steph Curry, which you could say he's maybe out or still in his prime. Who knows? Um, I gotta also say there's people saying that he only wants to play with a superstar, like I said, and I don't think that anybody on the Cavs would bring him value as far as superstar, and you could argue Donovan Mitchell, but I don't think he is as elite as a Jason Tatum of the world. And I know Jason Tatum's coming off an injury, but granted, he's still a champion. Uh, you know, I just don't think that we have the superstar and even James Harden anymore that LeBron would even want to come over and play. It's just I don't know, Joe. And with the Keon Reeves. What's his
Austin
name?
Reeves.
Austin Reeves still has to get paid in a Lakers jersey, or potentially. And like Lakers don't want to pay him that much, but he wants as much as he can get. So it puts the Lakers in a position to only be better for Luca. And that doesn't mean bringing back King James as far as I'm concerned. And I think we all know that. So when I look at it from that perspective, um, yeah, man, like you said, Joe, why not just retire? I mean, you're really holding up an extra roster spot for a player who wants to give it their all. LeBron didn't really play that much this season. You can say that he played in the playoffs, what have you. He carried the team. He beat a Rockets team. Okay, what have you. All right. At the end of the day, I think it only gets him past the first round. Him staying around for this much longer. Your thoughts on that?
Well, I think with the Warriors, I think the Bronny factor is going to be a factor. Bronny thing will be a factor more than people think, because I think he wants his son on an NBA team where he is. But um, I don't know with the Warriors how that would work. But I think I get what you're saying with Steph Curry. You should make it a point. LeBron at this stage of his career, I want to play with another superstar type guy that can help. We can split the load. The problem is Steph is still a superstar talent, no doubt about it. He averaged last year. Um, Steph averaged 26 points, 4 assists, 46% from the field. He's 38 years old. The problem is, though, he only played 43 games. And I
Right.
look at that and I'm like, availability is the best ability.
Yep.
And you got a team, you got a guy with Jimmy Butler is coming off I think he didn't play at all last year, right? So you got a guy like Jimmy Butler who's coming off an injury like that. Draymond is not anywhere where he used to be in terms of his impact was more turned to defense and play. He's still a decent player, but he's not what he once was. He's older. And Steph Curry, again, only 43 games last year. And you look at Jimmy Butler, he didn't play at all. He's been dealing with it. Coming off an injury like that, you know how he's going to respond. Is he be the same guy? He's getting paid 50 plus million. Draymond's getting paid almost 25 million. So it's like, yeah, you got the names, but I don't think they're going to sustain. Will they even be top six in the West? Like I don't like. Are they a play-in team? Like I just don't. You know, to me, if I'm LeBron, that's a risk. You're taking $15 million to go play with a guy who I get it. Probably he's the second best player after you in the last 10 years, but he only played 43 games last year. He's 38 years old, and you know, you're older as well. You haven't played all 82 ever, and since 2018, you sat out the first couple weeks of last year because you were hurt. Like, how does that add up? I just don't think it makes sense. Only because he wants to live the West Coast life, and he's just adamant on that. That's the reason why I think he stays out. It goes there because he can't. He can't. The Lakers aren't bringing him back. If the Lakers were really going to bring him back, the Warriors wouldn't even be. You wouldn't hear the Warriors in the discussion. The only reason why the Warriors are even being brought up is because LeBron preferably wants to stay out in California. He likes his West Coast life, and I get it. I think he wanted to retire a Laker, but things happen. Jeannie Buss sold the team, and the new ownership things changed. They brought Luka in, and the only reason why you're hearing the Warriors is because that's the only other team in the West Coast that makes somewhat sense for him to go to, where he can actually pull it off.
And
So
I gotta say, Joe, I gotta just add in there, mentally and for his body physically, it makes sense. I mean, I remember Kobe used to say, there's no place better than working out in Los Angeles. I mean, his body's probably adapted to it. You know what I mean? He doesn't want to be playing where there's snow. I mean, come on.
yeah, but I get it. But it's not like he's playing outside. I mean, he's playing inside.
No, I
And
get that. Yeah.
you're on the road for half the season, like, and you have it. Like, it's only 2 years. Like, again, it's up. If LeBron goes to the Warriors, he's a part-time basketball player. Okay. If he actually really wants to go out and try to win one more time and have the best ending, in my opinion, you could say we're fans, but it makes the most sense logically. You go to Cleveland, and you add to that team and you try to get over the hump there. It just makes the most sense to me. But I could see the Warriors again. LeBron. Here's one thing I'll see about LeBron that I've heard from people that know him is, this isn't the kid from Akron anymore. Okay, he left for Hollywood and L.A. 8 years ago.
No.
Lot could change in 8 years with somebody. He's not.
We're working on the documentary on this point, Joe. I mean, come on.
Yeah, I mean, this isn't the kid from Akron anymore. Okay, he's he likes he's Mr. West Coast. He's Mr. Hollywood now. So
Right.
it wouldn't shock me if he signed with the Warriors. It would not, because that's just kind of where he's at now.
I agree.
I got a point. I do
We'll
got
see.
a point there too.
Go ahead, Wally, before we finish up.
So with the Golden State, I think they's gonna wait for like the draft, right? All right. So look, listen to this. I think the Warriors are going to make a good package for a a team. I don't know what team, but it's
The
going to
Nets,
be
Michael Porter Jr. I think they're interested in. Go ahead.
yeah, probably that. I
It
think
makes
they're
more
going.
sense for them, but go ahead.
Yeah. So for that, I think after that trade, that the Golden State package trade, after that, I think they're going to aim LeBron to get signed with the Golden State Warriors. But I think this is going to be after the draft night.
Yeah, I think July 1st, right around. I think because for agency's June 30th. I think July 1st, you'll know where LeBron's probably playing at.
Yeah.
But it'll be fascinating stuff, fellas. We'll be covering it all month long. Because again, I think right now a lot of your scenes is kind of smoke and mirrors. It's drama.
Yeah.
It's trying to keep engagement and all that. But I think the closer we get to the draft's really going to show a lot. I think, because a lot will happen once Giannis gets moved. Giannis will get moved before LeBron does, obviously. So I think that's once that falls, things will start to become a little more clear. What are the Warriors really going to do? Does something else pop up for them, or what are the Cavs? Maybe something else pop up. We'll see. So it's going to be fascinating. Stay tuned all month long. Subscribe to my guy Humble. Humble, where can I find you? We got the UFC Freedom event this weekend.
Fire.
Humble Man MMA right there, man. Come on
Go
over.
subscribe to him. Go subscribe to my guy.
Good
Yeah, he'll be
stream.
racked to the UFC event. Probably most likely, right?
Oh yeah,
yeah.
for sure.
He said, "Oh yeah, for sure." I can't wait for that.
Sure.
Well, appreciate you, Humble, and Wally, for coming up here today. Well, and appreciate you guys, Humble.
Most
Especially you. I
definitely.
know you're out working, but I'll see you guys later. And salute to you guys.
Salute.
With salute to my guys. Round of applause to them. Where's my round of applause? There we go. Well, yeah, man. Please like, subscribe, and share, and all that good stuff. And I will see you guys in the next one. I'm out of here. Gone.